Happy Valentine's month, everybody. I'm the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to share with you some of my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from TV shows or even movies. Not everything is all lovey-dovey. Sometimes Valentine's Days deal with heartache and everything. So, some episodes will be romantic and lovey-dovey, while others will be very sad and heart-wrenching and stuff. But love is love. It doesn't always come with smiles and giggles and glee. So, I'm here today to talk to you about So Weird Season 2 Episode 3, Sirens. This was a really good episode. It had a very different type of twist that I kind of didn't really see coming. But then again, this is Disney Channel, so so this episode has to do with sirens, and sirens are these unique creatures in Greek mythology. I believe they were first introduced into the a book known as the Odyssey. They're the Greek mythological beings. They're women who sing a song that enchant men. And men are under their thrall to where they just can't resist them. And they fall madly in love with them. Many of these men, because they're not paying attention to what they're doing, when they're out, because the sirens, they live by the cliff sides of the ocean. And so when the men aren't paying attention, doing what they're supposed to do with the boats go out of control and they die, or the men try to jump off the boats and meet the women, but then they end up drowning, or some of them, the women end up making the men turn against each other and attack each other. The first time I ever saw sirens was in Young Hercules, the movie, and that siren was evil. And let's see, another time I saw them was in Xena, and those were evil too. They're normally projected as evil people and stuff. And so while the group are in town, because they don't really tour no more, it's interesting because we get to see the four kids all together: Fee, Jack, Clue, and Carrie. It's ironic to see Carrie and Clue together because they're brothers and they normally swap seasons and stuff. I think Clue was mostly in the first, then he left to go do some other show, and then Carrie came in. The dude who plays Carrie, he's related to Blake Lively and stuff. That's his sister. The dude's 6 foot tall looking and stuff, and everybody else on the show is short. That mostly hangs out with him. And so they're all walking through the streets and they're just having a good time talking, and then all of a sudden he overhears some singing. So he goes into this bar. The bar used to be a computer shop, and there he sees Callie, this woman who's just singing this beautiful song, and he's entranced by her. So is every other man in there. And so he's literally just falling in love within seconds, to where all he can do is just think about her. And so after she sings and she goes back into her own dressing room, he goes back there to talk to her. And she's a little upset. She doesn't like the idea. She says she doesn't like men in her dressing room. But he tells her, oh, but I'm more like a man boy, because he's a teenager and stuff. I think he's in college, but who knows. Anyway, so they talk a little bit more, and then her manager, Evelyn, comes in and makes him scram. But before he leaves, Callie wants to know his name. And so he's so happy that a girl wants to know his name and stuff. And so, throughout the rest of this episode, when they go back there, it turns out Molly and Carrie's mom knows Evelyn. So when they hear Callie sing, all of the men once again at the little nightclub bar thingy are entranced by her. But Fee picks up on it very quickly, and she notices. Well, she said there's only 3 females, but there's only 4 really. But there are 5 if you count Evelyn. She said, you already knows that we're the only female here. And so Molly's all certain singers draw different crowds, but Fee knows something's up. And so as they're all talking, she noticed that like Jack is like Google Eye for her, Clue is Google Eye, all the dudes are Google Eye. And it's weird that Jack would be Google Eye because he has Gabe and everything. So um what's his name? Um Carrie's like dad invites Evelyn and Callie for dinner. Evelyn doesn't want to do it, but Callie, for some bizarre reason, does. Now, when you look at Callie, she always looks sad, depressed, and kind of has this stern look to her constantly. Like she looks like she could be like she has that kind of stern, angry kind of look. Not too angry, but more stern, but also more sad. There's something going on with her. And so when Fee goes back to her place, she's searching her computer, trying to figure out what exactly could be the connection between women, music, and enchantments. And she determines it's a siren. So she is very worried. Now she knows that Carrie is underneath that spell. And so while they're all there at dinner and stuff, like um actually, I think no. Before they go to dinner, Carrie is just he can't take it, man. He sneaks out at night. He goes to her place and he talks to her through the window, and she's all like, "I want you to run away with me," and blah 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 and stuff like that. And like he's just like so giddy and happy, like he's literally giddy like a little schoolgirl. And so she throws him her CD, and so like of course, he's even more under her spell when he listens to it. And so Fee comes in there, she's talking to him, and she starts to listen to his Walkman and everything, not Walkman, my CD player. And so he gets upset because he doesn't want her listening to his music because it was personally given to him by Callie. And he literally tells Fee, "You stay out my like love life," in a very mean kind of way. And we all know when it comes to love, that's one of the most dangerous things, like the most powerful thing ever, because you will do some of the craziest things when you're in love. And he is starting now to do that. So he is starting to turn into like a dangerous person. So at the dinner, um, Carrie and like Callie and Fee, they like excuse themselves. And so when Fee like wants to talk to Callie alone. And so when she does, she's all like, "Look, I know what you are and everything," and blah blah stuff like that. And so um Callie's trying to like play it off, but then she's all like, "This is pretty brave of you to like be in a room with a siren, and they have like razor sharp like talons that can rip through metal and everything." And she's slowly walking to feet. I'm like, "Oh god, it's gonna be like that vampire episode." But then no, she backs off, and then she confesses to Fee that like she found out about her the same way Evelyn did, and Evelyn is using her because like Evelyn's just a music manager, and she wants like to make lots of money, and she's making it off of Callie and her like enchantment songs, and so she just wants to go home to like be with her father and stuff. And most those I'm thinking the Banshees. Never mind. So anyway, so yeah. Um so she wants to like go back home, you know what I'm saying? And so Fee tells like Carrie, "No, we have to hurry." So they hightail it so they can try to hurry and get her like um how far like hide her and get way out of there. But Clue and Jack took the car, so now they have to hoof it. But Fee's trying to find like a hiding spot for her to spend the night so they can find like a bus, a plane ride, and get her back to where it is she needs to go. But then, of course, the adults find out. But Callie doesn't want to leave without her little musical instrument. And so she goes back to like her little nightclub place in her dressing room. And there's Evelyn. And Evelyn is not having it. Well, the adults show up. And then, as they're like discussing this and everything, Callie sneaks away and she just like takes off. And then so Evelyn now knows she has lost like her meal ticket. Molly sings her beautiful Rebecca song, and then Carrie is like really upset because he's sad now. His heart is broken. His woman has left him. But in a very romantic gesture, she comes back to his window and she tells him like she's sorry, but she can't stay with him and she has to go back home and be with her father. And he's all like, "Will I ever see you?" And she's all like, "Maybe one day in the future," and all this other stuff. But the thing about her is like all these men love her because of her music, because they're enchanted by her. But she wants to find real love and meet a real guy who will fall in love with her without hearing her music. And so she knows she can't do that with not Clue, but Carrie, because he is enchanted by her. So like, but it's sweet that she tells him, maybe one day in the future I'll come back. Because, it's like, seriously, it's like once the spell wears off him and she won't sing to him, maybe he will feel those feelings for her. Like, you never know. But of course, this show got canceled after the third season, so, you know. But it was like a really nice twist because you think she's gonna be evil like the vampire people and stuff. But no, it turned out she's like pretty innocent. Like she is the victim in all this. And it's like a really tragic thing. And it was so cool because Fee, my God, man, she was willing to walk all night to ever like a bus station and get that girl on a plane and like everything. That's one thing I love about Fee. Is like she's kind of like a superhero in a way. She sees all this paranormal stuff and she always tries to do like the right thing. That's what was so great about this show. I hope now that the Secrets of Sulphur Place um it's starting to bring back that old school vibe, like so weird. I hope Disney gets to their senses, find the actress who plays Fee, and just like um, make a revival, man. Like, what is Fee doing in her older age now? Like, has she found her dad? Did she go to the underworld to rescue him? Like, what's going on? Now, wasn't that romantic? Or depressing, depending on what kind of video I just talked about. Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And bye.